And to complete the most significant news for this day, Y News continues. Here are the top stories. Philippine National Railways General Manager Jun Magno is accused of mismanagement in the agency, which allegedly resulted in poor service of the National Railways among its thousands of passengers. Jo Anano tells us why.
The Philippine National Railways is servicing commuters for more than 5 decades now. It was in 1964 when the PNR started to run on tracks to service more than 48,000 passengers daily. PNR trains operate from Malolos in Bulacan to several towns in Bicol, including Naga and Legazpi. But due to the passing of time, the trains now have gone old, rusty, and jolted. Despite this condition, thousands of passengers are still taking the PNR to avoid heavy traffic in Metro Manila roads.
So nandito kami ngayon sa Alabang Station nitong PNR at ngayon 8:20 na ng umaga. Ngayong araw, susubukan natin sumakay ng tren mula dito sa Alabang Station papunta dyan sa Tutuban Station. Aalamin natin kung kamusta nga ba yung experience ng isang commuter ng PNR. So ngayon, tara, samahan niyo kami. Mula Alabang ay nakalagpas na tayo o dumaan na tayo sa isang istasyon at kung makikita nyo nga ngayon, halos punuan na itong tren ng PNR. Ngayon, ito, ordinary lang itong nasakyan natin, kaya naman medyo mainit. Pagkatapos nga ng isang oras at kalahati na biyahe, nakarating na tayo dito sa Tutuban Station. So, sa experience natin, medyo nakakapagod talaga kasi isang oras at kalahati kang nakatayo mula sa Alabang Station hanggang dito sa Tutuban. Isang oras at kalahati, medyo masakit yun sa tuhod. Pero kagaya nga ng sinasabi ng karamihan sa mga pasahero, mas okay na yon kesa nga bumiyahe sila at maipit sa traffic. Mula Alabang hanggang Tutuban, aabutin sila ng mahigit 2 oras ng biyahe.
Laging sikip. Laging nakatindig.
Mahirap po ba? Gano'ng mahirap po, Tay?
Mahirap. Laging pawisan, laging pagod.
Nakaka-excite kaya lang tiring. Matagtag siya. Patas another, sobrang init. Yan, dapat i-renovate ng maayos. Ayos para walang aberya.
Payment of fare is still manual as the passengers have to pay in cash and get their tickets before riding the train. Fares amount from 15 pesos up to 60 pesos depending on the passenger's destination. Currently, PNR is running 62 trains. Each travel has an interval of 30 minutes and trains are running at a speed of 35 to 55 kilometers per hour. This is way too far from the train system in some advanced countries such as Japan, Hong Kong, Malaysia, among others. To date, the problem in informal settlers remains to be a huge challenge in PNR.
Talagang medyo, yan yung isa sa pinakamalaki naming problema, yung encroachment ng mga informal settlers. Again, mini-maintain naman namin yung area, kaya lang talagang every now and then mayroong mga nag-a-attempt. Nahirapan din kami.
The non-development in the PNR system is being blamed to the agency's General Manager Jun Magno mismanagement. The president of Bagong Kapisanan ng mga manggagawa sa PNR accused Magno for not releasing budget for diesel and spare parts for the trains. According to him, this is the primary reason why the number of trains is decreasing that resulted in the cancellation of 2 or more travel every day.
Hindi na maintain ng maayos kasi hindi bumibili ng spare parts ang management ng PNR. Ang sabi na sa akin, since 2017, nagre-request sila ng mga spare parts pero walang dumarating. Hindi alam kung bakit ganun. So, chine-change oil niyo yan para palagi maayos ang takbo. Mga train natin, hinuhugasan yung filter dahil hindi bumibili ng filter. Pwede ba yun? Hugasan mo tapos ibabalik mo ulit. Ang mga langis na yan, bakit hindi man lang ba mabili yan para mapalitan yan?
The PNR Workers Union is also complaining about Magno's alleged rejection of Japan's donation of second-hand train sets. The said trains are expected to increase the capacity of PNR in providing service to the passengers. Instead of accepting donations, the Workers Union claimed that Magno prefers to purchase new trains from Indonesia. Apart from this, they are also complaining on the lack of actions of the PNR management to provide benefits to around 1,200 employees working under job order.
Wala silang benefits. Kung nagkasakit sila, ano mangyayari kung na-aksidente sila sa pagtatrabaho, wala silang nakukuha sa Philippine National Railways. Pag nag-overtime sila, hindi sila binabayaran. Kailangan nila pera.
Meanwhile, PNR spokesperson Jocelyn Geronimo explains that the sad case is now under the Civil Service Commission, and she strongly denied that there is a mismanagement in the agency. Geronimo added that Magno is preparing for his official statement to address the controversy and assures that the management is currently working to provide solution on the concerns of PNR Workers Union.
Nakita mo naman, ka-approve lang naman din ng gobyerno ng ating yung mga magiging bagong policy para doon sa how to deal with the JOs. Hindi naman sa mismanagement no. So siguro aring meron lang hindi pa lang nagkakaroon ng talagang pag-uusap si union at saka si management, pero ayusin naman namin lahat yan kasi syempre mahirap namang kasing tumable nang wala ka pa naman ding kayang ipangako.
Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives passed on third and final reading the resolution of both Houses 15 that seeks to revise the Philippine Constitution and shift to a federal form of government. Voting 224 to 22 with 3 abstentions, the lower house passed a resolution that was authored by House Speaker Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. The proposal seeks to lift the term limits for members of the Congress and remove the 1987 Constitution's anti-political dynasty provision. The bill also wants to elect the president and vice president from the same party, with each serving a term of 4 years and will be eligible for 1 re-election. The proposal also seeks to bring back the two-party system and to require elected officials to have a college degree. Although the lower house was able to meet the 3/4 vote requirement to pass the bill, Senate says the chances of the federal draft charter to hurdle the upper chamber are very doubtful at this point. Senators said last week they wouldn't have the time to tackle federalism as they are too busy working on the proposed 2019 national budget. House Speaker Gloria Macapagal Arroyo vehemently denies allegations that she got the biggest chunk of the proposed 2019 national budget. Report said Arroyo's 2nd District of Pampanga was given the biggest budget allocation of over 2 billion pesos for next year. House Majority Leader Rolando Andaya came in support of Arroyo, saying of all the congressmen, Arroyo placed 60th among Solons with highest budget allocation. Instead, Arroyo and Andaya point at former House leaders as recipients of the highest amount of fund.
The 2 allegations I wanted to check, that I cornered it, no. Second allegation, they were my allies, no. No, the previous leadership of the House have bigger, multiples of the budget of my district.
As approved again on third reading, the number 1 recipient would still be former Speaker of Pantalan Alvarez's district with around 5 billion pesos. The former Majority Leader Fariñas with 3.5 billion pesos, and the former Chairman of the Committee on Appropriations, Carlo Nograles, with 4 billion pesos.
Former House Speaker Alvarez and former Committee on Appropriations Chairperson Carlo Nograles are yet to respond on the matter. But Congressman Rudy Fariñas says he knew nothing about the budget allocation for his district since he joined the minority right after President Rodrigo Duterte's recent State of the Nation address. The Balanghiga bells are finally back to its rightful owner after 117 years. The centuries-old bells, considered as national treasures, were immediately checked after they were unloaded from the U.S. Air Force C-130 plane at the Villamor Air Base in Pasay City. U.S. Ambassador to the Philippines Sung Kim personally led the handover of the bells to Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana. Both Sung Kim and Lorenzana believe the return of the bells reflects mutual respect and signals closure in the bitter chapter in the Philippines and the U.S. history.
Our decision to return the bells clearly reflects our shared values, shared history, and our commitment to this relationship. This is a relationship of equals, of 2 independent sovereign nations, and of mutual respect.
It's actually a happy day, a happy occasion for every one of us. And the bells are back home. And we join the people of Samar, especially in rejoicing for the return of the bells.
The public will be given a chance to view the 3 historical pieces starting Wednesday at the Air Force Museum in Villamor Air Base. The bells are set to take their final journey to their hometown in Balanghiga on Saturday, December 15. And for the news abroad, British Prime Minister Theresa May abruptly postponed a parliamentary vote on her Brexit deal on Monday, throwing Britain's plan to leave the European Union into chaos after admitting that she faced a rout. May's move on the eve of the scheduled parliamentary vote opens up an array of possible outcomes ranging from a disorderly Brexit without a deal, a last-minute deal clinched just weeks before Britain's March 29 exit, or another EU referendum. European Council President Donald Tusk said on Monday that Brexit would be discussed at the Council meeting on Thursday, including how to help the British government ratify the exit process, but that the withdrawal agreement was not up for renegotiation. May said she would now go back to the EU and seek reassurances over the so-called Irish backstop. Meanwhile, President Emmanuel Macron wants to speed up tax cuts and raise wages for poor workers amid France's worst unrest for years. Jovic Burmas tells us why.
President Emmanuel Macron on Monday announced wage rises for the poorest workers and tax cuts for pensioners in further concessions meant to defuse weeks of often violent protests that have challenged his authority. In his first national address following 2 weekends of France's worst unrest for years, Macron sought to restore calm and struck a humble tone after accusations that his governing style and economic policies were fracturing the country. But he refused to reinstate a wealth tax and to back down on his reform agenda, which he said would proceed in 2019 with overhauls of pensions, unemployment benefits, and public expenditures.
It was at first an anger against a tax, and the Prime Minister responded by cancelling and removing all the increases scheduled for the start of next year. But this anger is deeper. I feel it is justified in many ways.
His response came 48 hours after protesters fought street battles with riot police, torching cars and looting shops, the 4th weekend of protests for the so-called Yellow Vest movement, which started as a revolt against high fuel costs.
This was a long time coming, but it's here now. No doubt over the past year and a half, we have not provided answers that were strong and quick enough. I take my share of responsibility. I may have given the impression that I did not care about that I had other priorities. I also know that I have hurt some of you with my words.
In measures that are likely to cost billions to state coffers, Macron said people on the minimum wage would see their salaries rise by €100 a month in 2019 without extra costs to employers. His labor minister said this would be achieved by the government topping up small salaries. Pensioners earning less than €2,000 will see this year's increase in social security taxes scrapped, Macron said, going back on a measure that particularly hurt his popularity with older voters. Meanwhile, Yellow Vest protesters in northern France said they were not convinced by measures announced by French President Macron. The 40-year-old former investment banker was also under pressure to make amends about cutting remarks he made in the past year and a half that critics said made him look aloof and arrogant. Jovic Burmas, UNTV News and Rescue, Europe.
Miss Universe Philippines 2018 Catriona Gray wows the crowd when she presented her national costume in a PR pageant competition in Thailand. Kath Dumaraos tells us why.
94 Miss Universe 2018 competitors donned colorful and elaborate national costumes when they paraded during a pre-pageant event in Pattaya, Thailand on Monday. Among those who made heads turn during the national costume competition held at the NICE Convention and Exhibition Center, Nongnuch Garden, was Miss Philippines Catriona Gray. Grace's national costume, referred to as Luz Viminda, is meaningful and represents the three major island groups in the Philippines. Her massive lantern backdrop, which represents Luzon, captures the colorful and rich culture of the country with paintings and inscriptions of the national anthem written in Baybayin script. Her crystal-embellished bodysuit represents indigenous people in the Visayas, while her boots and accessories champion the ethnic groups in Mindanao. Due to her elaborate attire, Grace's awestruck supporters have expressed concern over the weight of her national costume.
Ngayong gabi, parang nakitaan namin na yun nahirapan si Catriona Gray na pagdala. Oo, nahirapan siyang magdala ng costume niya.
Other competitors also wowed the crowd with their head-turning costumes, including India, Thailand, Japan, and Laos. Spectators and even Thailand vet Farida Waller expressed admiration for Grace and other competitors' costumes.
All the girls, all the costumes were just gorgeous, beautiful, and how strong those girls are, because some of them were so heavy, especially Miss Philippines, Katrina. I mean, I loved the costume and it was so huge. Amazing.
See, India, Vietnam, Laos, and of course, the Philippines.
Maganda naman talaga si Miss Catriona Gray. Talaga.
Very beautiful.
Manika, yung beauty niya. Di ba?
I'm here all the way from Australia to support you. You're very strong. I'm sure you got this.
Kami po ay sumusuporta sa ating pambato na si Catriona Gray. Meow!
The winner of the national costume competition will be announced during the coronation night of the 67th Miss Universe pageant on December 17. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue, Pattaya, Thailand.
Meanwhile, the second batch of Wishcoveries battle for their spot in the next round of Wishcovery Season 2. Leslie Longboan tells us why.
The second batch of Wishcoveries, starting with Camp Rani Raimundo, gave their best to advance to the next round of Wishcovery Season 2, The Singer and the Song. Last night, composer Wishcover Rani grouped together 3 Wishcoveries with different styles to see who will shine among them. Wishcovery Lorraine de Guzman delivered an emotionally charged song.
Ang bukas pangitain ng gantay sa isip lang.
You know, hearing you sing like that, parang it's so refreshing to know na more than yung vocal calisthenics at birit meron pa rin pinaprioritize yung feeling ng kanta.
Rydel Garcia, meanwhile, shared an R&B song.
Kumalaya lang ako, kumalaya lang ako, ipagsisigawan kong mahal kita.
There's a sincerity sa pagkanta mo na gustong-gusto ko.
John Michael Narag was described by Rani as classic OPM balladeer, but he did not make it to the next round.
Ang sinisigaw nitong aking puso.
Dahil dun sa pagsubok na dumaan sa akin ngayon, I will continue my singing career and pursue ko lang yung talent ko, and then I would like to share my talent to other people.
After Camp Rani, catch Camp Junji Marcelo's second batch of Wishcoveries from National Capital Region battle at 9:30 p.m. tonight on Wish 107.5's YouTube channel. Leslie Lomoan, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
And those are the reasons behind the news, December 12, 2018. On behalf of Rheena, Villamor-Camara, and Angelo, Castro III. I am William Thio. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.